Scott Ashley here. Tonight we're going to go over the meeting information for and safety briefing for the Lake Wheeler tournament for the Tide division. We're going to go over everything for the juniors and the high school as well. Kind of have some differences with this one with the juniors and the high school, so please watch the whole video, pay attention. There's sections for juniors and sections for high school. So a few key messages to start off with. Like I said, this is for the junior and the high school for Wheeler Lake in the Tide division. The juniors will register and blast off from Riverwalk Marina, and the high school will register and blast off at Ingalls Harbor. But both junior and high school will check in and weigh in at Ingalls Harbor. Okay, and we'll go over that in more detail. Juniors, when you're parking at Riverwalk Marina when you launch Saturday morning, please be aware of the restaurant right there beside the boat ramp and do not block it. That was the only thing they were worried about. It's just there's plenty of parking there for the 66 boats I believe we have. So please make sure you don't park up by the restaurant. We're still under the COVID situation. The mask order is still in effect for the state of Alabama. So a buff or a face covering must still be worn at weigh-in when you come across the stage. We are allowing spectators at weigh-in now. We did a couple weeks ago in the Tide division. However, we cannot allow the tents, which brings on the tailgating and crowding that we just can't have. So spectators will be allowed at weigh-in, but we will not allow tents to be put up. And we will not allow spectators at blast off. There's just not enough room on the docks to have the social distancing. Okay. So I'm going to go through the slideshow here. First of all, anybody, the slideshow, Chris will post it on our Facebook so you can review it. But if you've had any exposure to COVID, have any of the symptoms, right, by now we all know what we're looking for. Please do not attend and spread the COVID to anyone else and to the other anglers, people participating in the tournament, and staff. If that happens, we won't be able to continue the season. So please, if you have any of the symptoms or if you've been exposed to COVID, please do not attend. As always, if you guys take any pictures, particularly on the water pictures, send them in to the email on the screen there, the Alabama Bass Nation pictures, or text them to that number to Chris. He will get those posted on Facebook, and I think he uses a lot of them to put together a video montage, which is very cool. All right, so we'll go through the general rules here. Always remember, I know a lot of you have been with us for several years and hear me preach on this, but I know we're going to have some new members. So for the new members, this is your first tournament. If you don't remember anything else, remember this. You must check in with my check-in person at the end of the day, period. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts. If you do not check in, you and your entire school get disqualified. We have to ensure that everyone is off the water safely. If for some reason you can't make it back to check-in, if your boat breaks down or if you leave early, my number, Jeffrey's number, and Daryl's number will all be on your registration card. Call one of us and let us know what's going on. Okay. We'll try to get you some assistance if we can, but we have to know you're off the water safely. Okay. Now, this is especially important in this case for the junior anglers. So juniors, you listen up, okay, because you're blasting off from Riverwalk from a different location, but check-in will be at Ingalls Harbor, okay? I know it's tempting if you're upriver and you have no fish, you're going right by Riverwalk to just take your boat out and leave rather than come down to Ingalls Harbor. It's maybe another mile by water down to Ingalls Harbor. You must come down to Ingalls Harbor and check in, okay? If you don't, you're going to get your entire school disqualified. So please, everyone, make sure you remember to come to Ingalls Harbor and check in unless you're physically not able to get there, and then call myself, Jeffrey, or Daryl, please. All right, juniors registration. When you come through, it'll be a drive-through like we've been doing. When our staff comes up to your window, make sure you have on a buffer, a face covering. The registration will be Friday afternoon, November the 6th, from 3 p.m. until 4:30. Juniors, it will be at the Riverwalk Marina. There's a slide that shows that in a minute. We encourage one person to pick up for the entire school if possible. If you're not going to be able to pick up for your school on Friday afternoon, please call us, text us, send us an email, one way or another, and let us know that you're not going to be able to come Friday afternoon so that we can make arrangements for you to pick it up Saturday morning. Juniors, if you let us know you can't make it on Friday, Saturday morning, your registration and boat flags will be available at the Riverwalk Marina. High school is pretty much identical, with the exception of high school will register at Ingalls Harbor rather than at Riverwalk. Now, the obvious question is, why are we doing two separate registrations? Frankly, I was afraid if we did not split it up and have the juniors register at Riverwalk, I would have juniors launching at Ingalls Harbor and then be lost and not understanding why they were not getting blasted off, right? If a junior launches at Ingalls Harbor, they're going to be late for their blast off. So we chose to split it up so the juniors would know for sure, because they had to go there and register and they would know where they were going. Okay, as stated, buffer face covering must be worn at weigh-in. That's the only time that I'm stipulating it, right? If you want to wear it in the boat with your other angler, the boat captain, that is up to you guys. You guys know, if you're family, if you've been around each other, whatever. The only place that we're requiring it is across the stage at weigh-in. Our standard, maintain the 6-foot distancing. As stated, spectators will be allowed at weigh-in. However, there'll be no tents allowed and no spectators at blast off. This is a new one that I've had to put in there. Our tournament rules, as with all tournament rules that I'm aware of, 250 horsepower is the maximum horsepower. So if any of you have a boat captain that has a 300 on it, you need to be finding you another boat to use for the tournament this weekend. That is a rule for us, as well as Bassmasters and all other tournaments. This one has been a rule, but we're having to pay more attention to it now and enforce it more. Each boat must have 3 people in it. Okay, it should be a boat captain and 2 anglers. If for some reason an angler gets sick or can't make it, then that boat has to find another person to put in the boat as an observer. Okay, so if you got problems with that, you need to let us know up front. I think to be an observer can be anyone. We just need them to complete a waiver, which is not a big deal. You can pull it off our website, email it in, or bring it to the tournament. Blast off, we're anticipating to be approximately between 6 to 6:15 a.m. We are going to get the juniors out of Riverwalk first before we start the high school, just because it's only about a mile up the river and we'll have crisscrossing traffic. But we'll get the juniors out really fast and get the high school on the way very shortly after them. The juniors do blast off at Riverwalk, but again, they'll be due in. Their first flight is due in at 1 p.m. at Ingalls Harbor. So they have to come check in to Ingalls Harbor and weigh in at Ingalls Harbor. There's plenty of dock space for them to tie up. It's actually a water weigh-in only. High school will blast off right after the juniors, and the high school first flight will be due in at 2 p.m. Flights are still going to be in 10-minute increments. For the juniors, we're doing 17 boats per flight, and for high school, we're doing 15 boats per flight. We're having to change it up a little bit because of the time change and it getting darker sooner, so we're going to have to run them through a little bit faster than we have been. No wake, of course, inside Ingalls Harbor and inside the Riverwalk Marina and any other areas posted no wake. They are some, but wasn't sure if I would have capture all of them, so I didn't try to list all of them. This tournament is on Wheeler Lake waters only. You may not lock up or down, so you have to stay on Wheeler Lake. Off limits is inside Ingalls Harbor, and I have a map of that. And of course, any other areas marked as no fishing. Size limit is 12 inches for largemouth and spotted bass, 15 inches for smallmouth and meanmouth. Fish will be measured with the mouth closed and tail fan. And we'll attempt to make the fish measure as best we can. Okay, so you guys make sure you check that. We've had a little bit of issue with that. Make sure your golden rule or your stick you're measuring with is good. If it gets bent a little bit, that can change your measurements. We will try our best to make the fish measure, but if it's short, it's short. Anglers, we always struggle with this. If you want to weigh a big fish, the minute you step on stage and hand the weigh master your bag of fish, you need to tell him, I want to weigh a big fish. Don't wait until after we weighed the fish and the MC starts interviewing you, go, oh, wait a minute, I want to weigh a big fish, because that fish has already gone off the stage, right? We've already printed your ticket. It ties things up. And in some cases, we can't get back to your fish. So make sure you tell them that up front. This one will be a water weigh-in. There's plenty of docks placed there at Ingalls Harbor. You'll come in, tie up to the dock, bring your fish to the scales before you go unload your boat. Both anglers may come across the stage as long as they're wearing a buffer face covering. For this one, we're going to go back to having the pitcher tank that a lot of you are familiar with. So you'll bring your fish on stage, they'll be weighed. If it's a good bag or takes a lead or top 10, we may take some pictures on stage, but most will go behind the trailer for pictures. We have a walkway where we just hand them through the trailer. So once you get done on stage, you'll go around behind the trailer for pictures with your fish. First tournament, I know a lot of boat captains will be have a lot of anxiety built up and be ready and raring to go. So a lot of adrenaline flowing, especially when we take off. But you know, boat captains, please keep safe distance between boats and maintain boating safety. Right, we've had some trouble in the past with people running too close to one another. So keep that in mind. You've got precious cargo in there, and the boat captains, it's your job and responsibility to take care of them. As standard, life jacket must be worn anytime the combustion engine's running. Boat captains, yes, this includes you all the time, and that means button, snap, zip, however your particular PFD works. If you've not signed up for the Remind app, I would encourage you to do so. Daryl does a really good job of sending out updates on the Remind app. It's in the slideshow. You just text 81010 and in the body type @Tide EDI or Tide DI, whatever it is. So you can look at the slideshow. And then you have my number, Jeffrey's number, and Daryl's number listed. Okay. If you have any emergencies, if you can't reach one of us, call the next one. For this one, I believe Jeffrey may be on the scale. So once the weigh-in starts, he may not be able to answer. So I'm thinking probably call me, but you'll have all these numbers listed on your registration card as well. All right. Some do's and don'ts, especially for you first timers. Junior division, boat captains, you can run the trolling motor, you can help tie tackle, you can net fish, you can cull and manage fish care, you can teach and instruct. The one thing that you cannot do is pick up a rod and reel, period. Do not pick one up, please. It creates all kinds of issues. We have to have meetings and get people involved. If your angler throws one out there and backlashes it, if he's backlashed all of his reels, have him take the reel off the rod and you can sit in the seat and pick it out. Just do not be seen with a rod and reel in your hand. For the high school division, it's a little different. Boat captains, the only thing you can do is help cull and manage fish and verbally teach and instruct. Other than that, you're there to drive the boat and keep everyone safe. You cannot run the trolling motor, net fish, or handle any tackle or rod and reel, even though that's not written. It should be known. Yep. All right, let's see. All right, I'm not going to read through all this just on the slideshow. This is just kind of for the new anglers, kind of how things go when they come in. You'll, of course, first check in at the boat dock, and there'll be a slide that shows you where to check in, and then you guys can just read this on the slideshow. Okay, registration for the juniors. This is a overhead shot of Riverwalk Marina, which is right beside the bridge on 72 there, and the address is up in the top right-hand corner. Pretty simple. You'll drive in, you see where we're planning on having probably may just be a tent instead of the trailer, so I'm not sure if we're going to bring the second trailer now. But we're planning on putting it right over here. You'll just drive down, pull up in front of the trailer. Somebody from staff will come out, ask you what school, who you're picking up. They'll bring you your registration card and your boat flag. And when they do, please look at your registration card and look at what boat number you are on it and look at the flat number on the flag and make sure they agree, right? We are human and we do make mistakes as well, right? So please check that while you're there. After you receive that, you're free to go. You can just drive back out. For high school registration, this one's a little different, and I'm doing this on purpose because this is the way we're going to come in for Saturday morning. And I can't quite see because I'm blocked, but I'm over here. This is the big pavilion, right, at Ingalls Harbor. This is Market Street, and I can't remember. Starts with an N. But you're going to enter on this end, drive behind the pavilion like you're going to the hotel, come around Market Street, and then go all the way around here through this grassy area. And this is a road back here, and you'll see our trailer sitting over here. You'll pull up to the trailer. Please do not try to come in the other end or try to come through this way. Please follow this. Depending on how the registration goes, if it gets a little backed up, we may double file the lines, but registration has been going pretty fast and pretty smooth, so we probably won't have to. And then you can exit the other end. Okay. All right. This is just an overall map of Riverwalk Marina Juniors. It kind of shows you some of the parking areas. Here is the restaurant. Please do not park anywhere around here, okay, and block the restaurant. Got plenty of parking all the way down the side. There's 66 boats, and I think there's over 100 boat parking spots. All right, this just kind of shows you how you'll come in, right? Come around to the dock and launch your boat and then go park. And this is boat parking again up here as well. And you guys can review the slide. It should be pretty self-explanatory, and with 66 boats, it shouldn't be too difficult to get in and out of there. Juniors. This one's for slides for juniors again. This is your staging and blast off. Because I don't know if they'll be current running or not. We're going to put you back in the marina. Okay. There's more than plenty of room in there. This dock runs all the way down. And right here at the end of the dock is where they're going to do the boat check for blast off. They'll be checking for the boat flag and life jackets. Boat flag has to be attached to the boat, visible where we can see it when you come by. Life jackets on and button snapped. Kill switch attached to the driver, to the boat captain. Do not pull it when you come by. Just show it to us. Running lights up and on, and your live wells up and open. And they'll call your boat numbers out, and you'll come by them. And then once you get to the river, you can go whichever way you want to. All right, juniors, we're planning on starting you guys approximately 6 to 6:15. And you see how we've got it here, and you can line yourselves up with your boat numbers. You'll idle down this dock parallel close enough for us to see it, see you, and see everything we need to see. Okay, we'll move on to high school. This is just an overall shot of Ingalls Harbor. You see we're going to blast off from the end down here. And you see where there's more than plenty of parking here and here. There's plenty of parking there. Probably can come over here and park, some out in the grassy area. But I got the numbers in a minute, but I think it's like 188 high schools. So there's more than plenty of room for that. So to go into a little further, Saturday morning for lunch, this entryway is going to be blocked off. This entryway over here into the pavilion is going to be blocked off, and this is going to be blocked off. You're only going to be able to come in one way, right over here, okay? And go past the pavilion and go like you're going to the hotel and all the way around, okay? Again, if we back up, I may double file this back in here. I'm going to say once you get to where the trailer is, you need to be ready. If you're not ready, pull over in the grass and get everything ready so that the people behind you can go on through. Now, just in case anybody's wondering why I do it this way, one of the problems that we've had at Wheeler in the past is boats backing up onto the highway. And this can be a pretty busy highway out here. In the past, I've tried a couple of different ways and we've managed, but it's been a real struggle. I feel like this way will give us plenty of room to keep everybody from being backed up off the road, and then we're not cramped. If you need more time to get ready, you can pull over in the grass and everybody can flow on through. Come through, come up and launch your boat, and then head to a parking area. And then go find your anglers and get in your boat. All right, blast off for high school. Staging, this one has got a little bit here that's really kind of important. We're going to blast off from this side at the end. Again, we're checking for the boat flag being up and on and visible, life jackets on, snap, zip, kill switch attached to the boat captain, running lights up and on, and live wells open and running. Ingalls Harbor is a great facility, a nice big boat ramp, plenty of parking. One of the problems is the size of the harbor, which is why we're launching the juniors out of Riverwalk, just because we tend to fill this harbor up. We had one tournament here where I don't know if we could have got another boat in there. So I want you guys to really pay attention to the staging. I feel like on this side, if we keep it to the first 75 boats, then we can get them lined up and get them started pretty fast. The problem I've had in the past is everybody gets stuffed in here and you can't move and get lined up. So I only want 1 through 75 on this side. And then you see 76 through 100. And if you're toward the end in the last flights, if you're 150 or more, I want you even, and I realize this is out past me and where I'm going to be blasting off, but just stay to the other side. This is all no wake in here. And then as we go through the numbers, you'll just keep shifting around and come up the dock, okay? And you really need to do that because you've got to come parallel to us. If you set out here and when we get close to you, you try to come straight across, a boat does not make a 90-degree turn, okay? And that's where we run into problems. My goal is always to beat my last best time and get you guys out as fast as I can, but I can't do it if the boats are not cooperating and getting lined up and coming through in a timely manner. So if you guys will please work with us on this, I think it'll work out good for us. All right, I think we are about there. All right, check in and off limits. So off limits, I'm just doing this point right here, a little past the end of the dock, straight across. Reason for that is I know a lot of people like to fish in this little bay right here with these boat docks, and then on these 2 points right here. We're going to be releasing fish back here, so it doesn't bother me for people to fish out here, but just make sure you stay past this point, okay? Check-in will be at the end of this dock here, okay, in the afternoon. Again, everyone must check in here with my check-in person at the end of the day. Regardless if you're high school, junior, lunch somewhere else, don't have any fish, not weighing in, you still must come here and check in, okay? Make sure my check-in person sees you, right? Get your high five sign going or a thumbs up or something. Make sure they see you, have you checked in. And if you're going to weigh fish, you'll come down and tie up to a dock. If you come in, you've got to come over to this side. You can't idle by the far side and expect my check-in person to get you. You've got to come up by this dock, okay? Let's see. All right. That's the end of the slides, which means we're almost there. Live check-its. Went over the size limit. It is a 5-fish limit. When the 6th fish enters the boat, you must cull. You must stop fishing and cull the 6 fish before you can fish again. Make sure you're taking care of your fish. We have a pretty stiff dead fish penalty. It's a 1/4 pound for the first one, and it escalates a 1/4 pound, a 1/2 pound, and then a pound. So it's an escalating dead fish penalty. So make sure you take care of your fish. We're planning on trying to have the scales open by 12:30 p.m. for those who want to come in early. As of now, and this number always changes a little bit, some drop out, a few get added for various reasons, but as of right now, we have 66 junior boats and 188 high school boats. The juniors' first flight will be due in at 1. High school first flight will start coming in at 2. Okay, check in, make sure you check in. Talked about that several times. We went over after you check in, tie up to the dock. It is a waterway in only. You have to get a outbound Bass Nation bag to come to weigh in. Do not put fish in your own bag. We have to control the lines that weigh in, make sure we have tanks to put in. And when you get a Bass Nation bag, make sure it has the mesh bag inside. Scales will close 30 minutes after last flight time or until the end of the line. If you have any emergencies, of course, call 911 first, then call myself, Jeffrey, or Daryl. And again, our numbers will be listed on the registration card. Chris will be uploading this slideshow on the Facebook for reference, so please make sure you go and view that. And also, for those of you watching or see it on Facebook, please make sure and share this. Make sure that at least one member of every boat views this video and understands the procedures. It'll make it go much smoother for everyone. As always, some of this may get tweaked a little bit as we get there and figure out different things, but we should be pretty close to where we'll end up. I believe that's all we have. So thank you for viewing the video, and we look forward to seeing you all at Ingalls Harbor. Thank you. Have a good evening.